Hi students, today we are going to explain the reasons behind the working of the law of demand, or why does the law of demand operate. We know that the law of demand shows the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. There are various reasons behind the functioning of this inverse relationship, and we can classify these reasons as general reasons and theoretical reasons. Initially we are explaining the general reasons of the working of the law of demand. The first point connected with the general reasons of the working of the law of demand is difference in the intensity of desire. Difference in intensity of desire. We know that there are people with a different intensity of desire to purchase a product. Suppose some individuals are having strong desire to have a product, some others are having less desire. We can analyze the intensity of desire as follows. We can classify the society into two, as persons with a strong intensity and persons with less intensity. When price of the product is very high, persons with a strong intensity will purchase the product, and less intensity, people with less intensity will not purchase the product. That means only one group is purchasing the product. When price of the commodity is low, that means decreases, strong intensity people already purchased the product, less intensity group also will purchase the product. In such a case, both the group are purchasing the product, and automatically demand is increasing. Here when price decreases, demand increases. Second point is the difference in income. That means income of the individuals are different. Therefore, in a society we can divide the society into different groups on the basis of their level of income, as high income group and low income group. Means that there are two groups in society, high income group and low income group. Similarly, price can be classified as high price and low price. Suppose when price of a product is high, the high income group will purchase the product, and low income group will not be able to purchase the product because they are having lesser purchasing power. But when price of a product decreases, high income group also will purchase the product, and low income group also will purchase the product. That means when price is high, only a small group will purchase the product, and when price decreases, larger groups of society will purchase the product, and thus demand goes up. The third point is the different use of a product. That means a product is having different uses. We can classify different uses as most important use and less important use. For example, most important use and less important use. Similarly, price can be high or very low. Suppose when price of the commodity is very high, the product will be used only for the most important purpose, and less important purpose will be unattended. But when price of a product is decreasing or price of a product is low, the most important purpose will be met with the product, and least important or less important purpose also will be met with the product. Therefore, when price is low, for all the purpose the product will be used, but when price is high, only for fewer important purposes will be met with the product. Therefore, when price decreases, demand for the product increases. These are the major general reasons of the working of the law of demand. These general reasons are applicable to most of the commodities in the market, and that's why it's known as general reasons. Now we are going to analyze the theoretical reasons behind the working of the law of demand. The first and most important theoretical reason is the working of the law of diminishing marginal utility. In our previous analysis, we have explained that consumer is in equilibrium when price is equal to marginal utility. In such a situation, when price of a product decreases, consumer will have to find a new equilibrium point, and it is possible only through an increase in consumption. Let us analyze the case. For example, suppose we are having a utility schedule, imaginary utility schedule, marginal utility and price. First unit consumption, consumer is getting 8 units utility. From second unit, 5 unit utility. From third unit, he is getting 3 units utility. Since price of the product is same, price of product is 5 rupees for first, second and third unit. Now, as per the conventional analysis, we know that consumer is in equilibrium when price is equal to marginal utility, and that point is attained when consumer is having 5 unit marginal utility by paying 5 units of utility to get the commodity. That means marginal utility is equal to price. Suppose when price of the product decreases to 3. In such a situation, the marginal utility will become higher than that of price. Here 5 is higher than 3, and therefore in such a situation consumer will have to find a new equilibrium point, and this new equilibrium point can be identified by equating marginal utility with price. That is possible by increasing the consumption from second unit to third unit, and here marginal utility is becoming equal to price. That is 3 unit is equal to 3 units. Marginal utility becomes 3. Therefore, when price decreases from 5 to 3, consumption increases from second unit to third unit. This is the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, and this is the reason behind the working of the law of demand. Next point related with the working of the law of demand is the working of income effect. We know that when price of a commodity falls, this leads to an increase in real income of the consumer. That means when price falls, consumer's real income increases, and automatically this increased real income will be used to purchase same commodity or some other commodities. For example, suppose price of the product X is rupees 5 and quantity demanded of the commodity is 10x. Normally consumer require 50 rupees to purchase 10x because consumer need 10x. Suppose when price of the commodity decreases to 4, automatically in order to purchase the same old quantity, that is 10x, consumer require only 40 rupees. That means a surplus of 10 rupees is being created through this price change. That means consumer's initial requirement was 50 rupees. Now consumer require only 40 rupees to purchase same old quantity, and therefore consumer is feeling a surplus of 10 rupees in income. This 10 rupees will be used to purchase either product X or some other commodities. The effect of these 10 rupees can be treated as the income effect of price change. It is treated as the income effect of a price change. This income effect happened because of the change in price of the product. This can be positive or negative depending upon the nature of the product. This price effect, income effect can be positive or negative depending upon the nature of the commodity. That will be analyzed later. Next point is the substitution effect. So in order to work out substitution effect, we require two commodities. Consumers will have a tendency to substitute cheaper product among substitutes. This tendency is termed as substitution effect. Suppose, for example, price of X is rupees 5 and price of Y is also rupees 5. Consumer now is purchasing 5X plus 5Y. That means consumer is having 5X plus 5Y when price of the products are same, X and Y are same as rupees 5. Now he is totally consuming 10X. When price of X falls to rupees 4, That means when price of x decreases, consumer is changing his combination 5x plus 5y into 7x plus 3y. Here the consumer has increased the consumption of 2 unit of x by decreasing the consumption of y. A commodity's consumption has been increased by decreasing the consumption of substitutable commodity. This effect is termed as substitution effect. Substitution effect will always be positive. Substitution effect is always positive. Now let us move to the concept of price effect. Price effect is the change in consumption level due to a change in price, or it is the effect that we have explained in the law of demand. And theoretically, price effect is a combination of income effect and substitution effect. That means price effect is equal to income effect and substitution effect. Once again, price effect is equal to income effect and substitution effect. We know that income effect can be positive or negative. That means income effect may be positive or negative. If demand increases when income increases, that is positive income effect. If demand decreases when income increases, that is negative income effect. And substitution effect is always positive. Therefore, in case of price effect, suppose if income effect is positive and substitution effect is positive, automatically price effect will be positive. Suppose if income effect is negative and substitution effect is positive, the price effect can be positive or negative depending upon the intensity of this negative income effect. That means price effect can be positive or negative depending upon the intensity of income effect, negative income effect. Therefore, price effect also can be positive or negative. The negative or positive nature of price effect depends upon whether income effect is positive or negative, and if income effect is negative, is it stronger than positive substitution effect. Now let us conclude this analysis with the following table. We have first column we have substitution effect, second column we have income effect, third column we have price effect. We know that price effect is a combination of income effect and substitution effect, and we have already said that income effect may be positive or negative, but substitution effect is always positive. And on the basis of it, we can analyze the nature of the commodity, that is shown in the fourth column. And in the final column, we are analyzing the demand curve, nature of demand curve. Now let us move to the case of a product whose price substitution effect is positive and income effect is also positive. Therefore, price effect also will be positive, because positive substitution effect plus positive income effect will be positive price effect. This is the case of a normal commodity. That means when price increases, quantity demanded will be decreased. When income increases, we are demanding more, and when price decreases, we are demanding more. In such a case, the product is a normal product, and in such a situation, the law of demand is operated. That means there is the working of the law of demand. Now, the second category, there is positive substitution effect. We have already said that substitution effect always will be positive, and we have negative income effect, but the negative income effect here is weak, very weak, and it is lower than positive substitution effect. Therefore, in such a situation, income effect and substitution effect is added, we will get a positive price effect. This negative income effect can be treated as, to analyze the nature of the commodity, as inferior good. Therefore, inferior goods are goods whose income effect is negative, and in such a situation, law of demand is operated. That means there is the working of the law of demand, because price effect is positive. Price effect positive means when price decreases, the demand for the commodity increases. In third category, we are having positive substitution effect, but income effect is negative. This negative income effect is very strong, and automatically price effect also will be negative. Price effect negative means we are having given commodity. We have already explained the nature of given commodity. Price consumption curve of given commodity is backward bending, and given commodity, in case of given commodity, law of demand does not operate. Law of demand will not be operated in case of given goods. Therefore, given goods are special type of inferior goods whose price effect is negative. Therefore, in order to analyze the nature of the commodity, if we are considering income effect, we can classify it as inferior or normal, and if we are considering price effect, we can classify it as given good or normal good. We know that all inferior goods are not given goods, but all given goods are inferior goods. All given goods are inferior goods, but all inferior goods are not given goods. Inferior goods may be a normal good in case of price effect, because if negative income effect is very weak. In our coming sessions, we will be analyzing the splitting up of the income effect and substitution effect from price effect, or we will be decomposing price effect into income effect and substitution effect. Thank you.